Welcome back, my spooky little gremlins. I'm Tiffany.
I'm Carly.
And I'm LD.
And we're the Harlots of Spooktalk. Tonight we're heading to Sweden, where apparently IKEA isn't the only thing that they assemble. We're diving into the eerie world of black art practices, old folklore, whispered rituals, alleged witchcraft, and enough unsettling stories to make you question every peaceful Scandinavian forest you've ever seen.
You know, people always picture Sweden as cozy cabins, meatballs, adorable moose. Meanwhile, somewhere in the woods, someone allegedly deals with the spirits, muttering incantations and convincing the neighbors they definitely not curse. Totally normal.
Some of these traditions blur between the history, folklore, and paranormal, whether you believe these human practices held real power or simply stories meant to explain the unexplained. One thing is for certain, humans have always been fascinated by things they probably shouldn't mess with.
And because apparently we don't value peaceful sleep around here, we've invited back one of our favorite returning guests.
Author, researcher, and our resident expert on all things wonderfully weird.
We're going to welcome back Lilse. Oh. But moving
Yeah.
forward.
Fantastic. Because if I hear once upon a time and it ends with somebody summoning a demon instead of finding true love, honestly, that's more our brand.
Disney could never.
Unless the enchanted forest starts whispering your name at 3 in the morning.
Before we accidentally summon something into your living room, let's thank tonight's sponsor.
This episode is sponsored by Cozy Earth.
If you're going to spend the night listening to haunted folklore and wondering if every creak in your house is a ghost, you might as well panic into just ridiculously comfortable sheets.
Seriously, Cozy Earth's luxurious bamboo sheets, pajamas, and bedding are so soft, you'll almost forget there's an ancient Swedish spirit standing in the corner of your bedroom.
Well, almost.
Visit Cozy Earth and use promo code HOST to save 21% off your order.
Now, fluff your pillows, lock your doors, maybe salt your windows if that's your thing, and let's get spooky.
Oh, you think you got away? Oh, you think you got away? Harlots of Spooktalk. Harlots of Spooktalk. LD is your witch. Tiff is your investigator. Carly is your dark one. Oh, you think you got away? The candle knows your name. LD is your witch. Tiff is your investigator. Carly is your dark one. Harlots of Spooktalk. Harlots of Spooktalk.
Viewer discretion advised. This episode contains strong language, adult themes, potentially frightening content. Listener discretion is strongly advised. All content is for entertainment purposes only. Any true crime or historic information discussed is publicly available online. Welcome back to Harlots Spook Talk. Tonight we have one of our returning guests, Leslie, and we're going to be discussing Swedish black magic. So I'm gonna hand it over to Leslie, and she's gonna explain a little more about it.
Hi everybody, I'm really happy. My name is Lilse. I wrote a book called When the City Sleeps, and I had been on the pod previously to talk about it. And while I was writing my next book, I was researching some really interesting topics, so I thought I could maybe put in an episode on this specific topic, which is the Swedish black magic books. So, firstly, I kind of wanted to start with like an icebreaker question. So, when you hear the word Swedish black magic, what immediately comes to mind? Witchcraft, folklore, religion, or something different?
Well, originally, I thought it would have. This is gonna sound so silly. I thought it had something to do with ninjas. That I don't know. I don't know why. Like sword fighting ninjas in the red. And I'm like, all right, we're gonna talk about some sword fighting. Okay, cool beans.
Mine is mainly like okay, no, the sword fighting is in Japan with the ninjas.
Well, they could have Swedish sword fighting. That was my
Swedish?
thought process.
I don't
Well,
know.
They seem so
Vikings
I
definitely
nice.
have Vikings definitely
Me
have some
too.
swords.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, like I more think about like witchcraft type of thing when I hear about black
There
magic.
you go. There you
More
go.
of the ancient, maybe like prior, like you just said, Vikings, and more the ancient gods. That's what I was thinking of.
Well, that's you're going in the right direction. So for the Swedish black magic books, they originated kind of in the Nordic region, where people that kept these kind of books were called cloak folk. So basically, it was a job similar to being a magician or a sorcerer, and they were the compilers. Like basically, they would put the books together, and they also basically these people, the cloak folk, they were magic specialists and they recorded kind of spoken or written charms in books, and the books were kind of different sizes and they were they were kind of composed over a period of time. So sometimes the books would have different types of paper in it, or it would basically be different sizes of paper because it was like compendiums, they were compiled together, which you could also call them grimoires, you could also call them like any kind of spell books, which I think is something that is a really interesting um type of artifact that it's used in horror movies, it's used in all different types of media, so it was something that I
Harry
specifically wanted.
Potter.
Yes, it's in Harry Potter,
Yeah.
it's in Harry Potter 1, and yeah, it's also in the 7th one as well. Yeah, it's all over there.
See, and
And
I
so
don't
the
like Harry Potter, but I knew about it.
I was gonna say I've never heard her make a Harry Potter reference
No,
ever.
that's for
And
me.
I'm
I
like,
love Harry Potter.
yeah, I'm like, did she just nerd out for a minute? Like, what
I
is
did.
happening?
I did.
Actually, this
exactly.
sounds more like if I don't know if you ever read R.A. Salvatore, The Realms.
Mm.
It's actually a really good
But
set of books with this,
yeah.
and that's where this kind of reminds me of.
Well, these books, they were often hardbound volumes, and I think I talked about how the papers were often kind of different sizes, and then basically it was a compilation of folk magic and medicine that you learn from like neighbors or from traveling craftsmen or like farm members. And something that I thought was really interesting with them as well is like the ownership was by priests, ministers. Sometimes they were with wise women as well, and they were basically a compilation of different all of the knowledge that was like passed down, which I thought was really interesting. And something that was also very interesting about it is the ownership was very especially if it was ministers or well-known people, the ownership of the black magic book itself was something that was recorded, and it was something that people they wanted like a book that someone famous had owned, which I thought was really interesting. So like you could also kind of see whose hands had passed through it.
That's
So that was
cool.
something that I thought was really interesting. And then something else that is interesting is the cloak folk, which I talked about earlier, is like the people who would compile the books. They were kind of like the wise people in a community area where they were the person who everyone would come to if they had a problem that they couldn't solve. So that's kind of where this book kind of became like a very important source of information.
Did they
One of the
wear
things
cloaks?
No, it's the cloak folk is it's basically the cloak folk, the KLOK, it refers to their denomination as someone who's like a wise person.
Oh.
So like essentially the people who are considered to be wise people were considered to have arcane knowledge. So if you basically there's a thing where like people were afraid to look at them, or people were afraid when they came into the kind of general society just because they
Mhm.
had knowledge that nobody else had. So there were people who were kind of like doctors, there were people who were ministers, there were people who kind of were on the outskirts of society as well. So a lot of the time they were gravekeepers as well, or like people who kind of dealt with human remains, especially just because a lot of, especially Swedish based dark magic and this type of magic, there's a lot of graveyard stuff.
I love graveyards.
I do too.
We
Actually,
spent
there's this
what,
one
like
of
an
my
hour in one?
yeah.
If I wanted to go to the next one, I was like, let's go to the other ones. And then we weren't
Well, it
going that
started
way.
raining.
So, dance in the rain. YOLO. It wasn't flooding, so it was fine. Anyways, moving on.
I think I'll move on to the next question. The next question is, do you think black magic is something every culture develops in its own way, or do you think people borrow practices from one another over time?
That's a good one. I think it's a little bit of both.
I think so too. It's pieces of each. If you look,
Mhm.
because some Haitian, it's kind of like Santeria. Some Santeria is kind of like voodoo. I think it over time, it's like a melting pot of different pieces.
I think something that's also very interesting about Nordic cultures is there's so much mixing. In that sense, I think people from Finland have 10% East Asian DNA just because they had a line of trade that came from from what would it be west? It would be Eastern Siberia. There was a trade route. So like even today, like they have 10% East Asian admixture in their DNA. So it's like there's so many like that also plays a factor. It's like I've never thought of like looking at people who are Nordic and being like, oh, there's a mixture of like East Asian in there as well. It's so
Mhm.
interesting how people mix together over
Yeah,
time.
I like it. It makes it more interesting to learn about other
Yes, it does. And also like we're
cultures.
so interconnected. And it's like people you
Mhm.
think like West, like when people you think of Europe, you think it's only white people. And it's like there's East Asian. Because like
Yeah.
whenever I think of Nordic people, I think of like how white, blonde, like very tall Viking people, and then you're like, wait, it was
Yeah.
mixed together from like
Yeah.
2000 years. Yeah, it's insane. Oh.
That's what I
So
think
one
of
of the
too, like big,
things
strong men. Sorry, go ahead.
no, no, it's okay, it's okay, you go ahead.
I'm on a rant about big, tall, muscular men and women.
No.
Like, I'm 46% Wales Viking, so that's Norse. And
Oh,
yeah,
this is
I'm
your
big boned,
ancestry.
so
I
yeah.
did not know
Yeah, so it's
you had
very
the
interesting.
presence of a Viking.
How do you
Oh,
know
you're
you're
welcome.
much of a Viking?
You go and get your ancestry DNA done.
I might need to do that.
You might be an Amazon woman, you know, with them
up.
long legs.
You know what? Read between the lines.
Hey, this is a nice show. Do not do that. Anyways, continue.
Off topic.
So, one of the things that was kind of present in these black magic books was charms, like, you know, charms in terms of spells. And basically, the way, if you kind of start reading, one of the things that I did when I was doing my research is I would read different black magic books, and basically there's also people who analyze the different types of kind of spells that were included in the book itself. So in terms of the charm text, one of the things that was important is first is kind of the sound of the charm itself. So like the rhyme, the rhythm, and the dissonance when the charm itself was being made. Another thing that was important is the composition of charm. So one of the things that I thought was really interesting is something that's called circumlocutions, which is like instead of saying the thing directly, they would say it in a roundabout way. So the person who was casting the charm would be protected because they weren't talking about the thing that they were trying to affect directly. And another thing that I thought was really interesting was rhetorical persuasion. So it's like if the caster, the cloak folk, was trying to kind of cast a demon or a devil, they would kind of call themselves as godly or like kind of put themselves in the same plane of like, I'm as important as you are, to try to trick them into helping them, which I thought was such an interesting way of composing a spell. And I've never really thought of it that way. So I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's like a little trickster. Almost, you know?
And then
Like when the priests are trying to get a demon out, it's like,
yes.
I don't know.
I just want to say this too. Like, when you're doing that kind of stuff, it's not exactly what it looks like on TV, where you're like, I'm gonna cast out the demons.
Well, not everyone
that
sounds
word.
like that.
Yes.
Well, I'm just saying,
I know.
you know,
She gets out her
like
little hick
an
accent.
exorcism. It's like the exorcism could be almost like something attaches to you.
Oh yeah,
but
no, I know.
You know what
It's
I mean?
not like in the movies. I know that. Like, I'm not saying.
Well, it depends on the movie. There are movies that have it where it's very, very realistic. Because like sometimes I watch YouTube videos about like the people who are actual exorcists in the Catholic Church, and they do recommend like not watching certain movies. Like they give you a list of movies. They're like, they're too realistic, and you're like,
Ooh,
what?
I need that list.
Yeah, I can 100% send it. It's one of my favorite things to do is to like see the updated list of all the things that Catholics have decided are not good.
I no lie, I go through my 80s nights and I look some of them up. Like I just watched a movie last night. It's called Power One. It's actually about hoodoo, and it's actually one of the closest movies I've seen to it. And I was
Really?
like, whoa, yeah, you can look up some good movies. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you
But
can
like
100%
she
look up.
said, you could just go on the church website and look up what they tell you not to watch and watch, and it's normally pretty good. It is. She's right. She's 100% right.
You know, we all get told when we get told what not to do, we're gonna try to do it anyway.
We do.
So. I think it's fun, but not fun. Don't say fun.
It's yeah.
It's fun for us.
Another question I was gonna ask is kind of related to movies and media. When you see kind of magic books, do you guys always think of an item that's like associated? If someone has a magic book or if there's a wizard, do you think of like a special item that they might have as well? Is there one that
Yeah, like a wand.
I actually think about the Book of the Dead. Necromancy for the dead. That comes to mind every time somebody says something or I see it in a movie. I think of the original leather bound, well, it was like in human skin bound Book of the Dead. I actually think of that because that's a real object, and people are like, "No, that's fake." No, that's an actual object, and I think that's pretty cool.
That is cool.
That is really cool. So, in terms of objects that were used in conjugation, kind of with black magic books, a lot of the times the black magic book itself was kind of considered to be an object of like horror and like an object that you should be afraid of looking at directly or even interacting with. So, it was considered to like have a power of its own. So, people, even interacting with it would kind of produce some kind of effect, like a strong magic effect. So people were really afraid of they're afraid of the people who had it, the cloak folk who had the black magic book, and they're also afraid of the book itself. So when like one example of someone who had it is a guy called Anders. So he was able to divine both situation and remedy, and he would use the help of a ring. So he would have like a ring on his hand, and only if he had the ring on his hand would he be able to help his clients kind of find both the remedy and find both the answer to the question, but only
Lord
if he
of
had
the
the
Rings.
he would have a ring on.
That is one of
Yes,
my
I
favorite
geeked out
movies.
again, LD. I see
Yeah,
you
I was
shaking your
hoping someone
head.
was gonna say Lord of the Rings.
My family pick on me for that movie, by the way.
Because I think
They
with
really
the
do.
Lord of the Rings, the ring,
There are
if you put
T-shirts
it into
with.
fire,
Sorry.
you can get the little inscription that comes out. That kind of tells you what the ring is. So it's like
Yeah.
it's something that's really
It's pretty
interesting.
cool.
So basically, only if
Yes.
you were wearing the ring could you read the black magic book or use the black magic book. That was something that is really interesting.
Yeah, that is. That's kind of like I'm trying to think of the word. It's an object that holds so much power that can actually separate the bad power. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but
I
it's pretty
did have
cool.
a small excerpt here where I kind of summarized it, but basically it's a story about a farmhand who went to go see someone. He had a kind of an issue, so he went to go see someone who had a black magic book, and like basically when the guy, like the farmhand, tried looking at the book was completely blank. But he realized that the book was only powerful because of the ring, and then the ring itself is kind of like a key in the sense that you need the ring. And in this case, like basically there's different stories. Sometimes you just have to wear the ring itself to like use the black magic book. Other times you rub the ring against like the piece of paper itself to like kind of activate the black magic ring. And you have to remember to rub the ring, or and then the because you did that action, you would have the ability to help the client. And sometimes instead of the ring, you would have to have you have to use a piece of cloth, and like the piece of cloth sometimes was a piece of a blanket of the person who was diseased, or a piece of like something important to like the person you're trying to curse. So I was like, that's so interesting in terms of the ways that these kind of books were kind of utilized, in these ways that these books were kind of hidden away, which I thought was very interesting.
It's kind of cool how it kind of like ties in, because keep thinking of these movies and I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
that's the wonderful thing about research, especially if you're creating something. You get to, look at like realize like where things come from. I think that's so interesting and so exciting. Like the possibilities that just open up in your mind are endless.
I know LD wants to say something.
She wants to.
I know.
No, I was just agreeing. I totally agree with everything you're saying. I'm like, yeah, like the only other thing that I wanted to say was if you want a T-shirt for these geeking out moments, you can go to allfolklore.com and put in other than that. I'm good. So,
It's like a decoder ring, dude.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
that's
The
pretty
decoder
cool
ring.
though. It's
It
kind of
is.
like something you would see out of a movie, like to be able to use the ring as that key. Like, I wonder what it would look like. Would it light up, in gold, or would it just be black
Did you
and
have
white?
that toy that do you remember there was this like spy spy diary that you basically there was an ad that would come
Oh,
on
the
TV. Yeah, the spy diary, and you'd have
Ew.
to use. I don't think it was a ring, but there was like a pen with a light, and like if you wrote only you would use the light to be able to see it, or you have to have a friend who also had the same
Oh,
pen to like use
yeah.
the light.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And
I
like we would
remember
So
always
that.
they
write like really silly notes about what the boy we liked,
that
or
was that a '90s thing? I feel like that was a '90s thing.
That was not
Early
a 90s thing.
2000s.
Yeah,
So
that
early,
sounds like an early
yeah, early.
2000s
there was
thing.
remember this time period where there's a lot of spy toys. It was around the time Spy Kids came out, or like there was some kind of like
Oh, you're
Oh,
right.
that
That was
might
early
yeah,
be
there were so
2000s.
many spy toys. I
late
remember when
90s,
I was
early 2000s. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
I remember
Mhm.
my older brother got a lot of those toys, and I remember I was only given the notebook, and I was like, I don't have it yet.
Oh,
They're secrets.
we had. I mean, I had the diary where you would put your voice in it, and if your voice didn't sound the same,
Oh,
I'm
I
that
remember
thing
that.
walked up so much on me. But that was the one thing I had. Not to go into a rant, but my sister, we had a easy bake oven, and it was ours
I
or
have
mine. And that little tap sister, if you want, I'm still mad at you. So she stole my easy bake oven, and she started baking out of it like Betty Crocker. Okay, and then she said it was her toy, and I'm still mad about it all these years later. Like that was my easy bake oven. But again, I'm trying not to get us off topic. Sorry, I go into a rant today. I've been very
no,
talkative, so
I
I
was planning on
apologize.
kind of like steering the conversation to like the next part. Because in
Oh
terms
well.
of like kind of secret things, one of the ways that in which like the black magic books were things were hidden is there was the use of red ink, because like we were talking about how kind of the toys kind of use a lot of kind of ways of hiding writing and kind of hiding knowledge, and like this that was also a way that that happened in these black magic books, in the sense that a lot of things were written in like red ink, and red ink was kind of thought as it was thought of as a way of denoting importance, in the sense that like a lot of times, like if you're making a pact with the devil, you would use your own blood to kind of write your signature. So if something was in red, it was really important, because it was like, oh, you're being really hardcore because you're using your own blood. So
Mhm.
sometimes if like there was a really important charm or a really important spell, or like you're trying to invoke something really bad, it would the everything else would be in black ink, and then it would change to red, and then you're like, oh no, it's in red. And basically it was like a very scary thing if you found something with red ink. And sometimes people wanted to hide stuff, so they would mix kind of red ink with black ink. So like basically the way they would write is sometimes they would write by cross hatching. So it's like sometimes like there would be things that were written vertically, and then they were written horizontally as well. And then sometimes there would be, instead of it just being just black ink, they would mix in red letters. And like if you only read the red letters, you would read something else. And then if you read the red and black letters together, they would also get another meaning in it, which I thought was really interesting, in the sense that like there's so many different types of code that was used, because like these books were passed around a lot, especially kind of with bishops, or like there was also a thing where it was a bit difficult to not everybody knew how to read, so like sometimes people would hear things, and if people heard things, then they would get knowledge, and they're like, I don't want people reading my book and knowing that knowledge was for me. But
Mhm.
that is
That must have taken a lot of time to do that. Can you imagine like doing all those little codes for like one section or one spell or man, that's a lot of thought process. That's pretty
a
amazing.
lot of these books were kind of held by people in power. So like it was held by ministers, or it was held by people, and these are also compilations of knowledge. So it's like, these are people who are very learned people, who are kind of like they're putting in a lot of effort in their job. Like their job requires a lot of knowledge, and it requires a lot of experience. So like they want their successor to also have, some of that knowledge and some of that experience. Because like even if you're a doctor, you're working in a hospital, like there are certain things that you need to know just about like common medications, or like common herbs, and like like common illnesses that happen Like, if you're dealing with a plague or if you're dealing with people who commonly have these kind of illnesses, like, you want that knowledge to be available to your successors. So it's like, I think some code is, I think in all professions we have a little bit of code, which is good.
I agree.
Yeah. I think you were also saying that you were, I think Tiffany was saying that she was really interested in graveyard lore as well. So I do have a special bit of lore that I could share with you, which is that so there was a specific term called graveyard wanderers, which was the common visitation of like the cloak folk or like the wise folk when they would go to cemeteries to collect skeletal remains or graveyard dust for use in magical rites and practices or sometimes they would go and kind of find the ancestral spirit, and they would
dig you up.
They would dig you up. They would keep like graveyard dust, or specifically they would keep like the certain nails from like hangings or coffins, or certain kind of bone dust or like specific bones, and they would kind of use that, or they would grind it up a lot of the time. I do have towards the end like some little excerpts of some of the stuff they would do as well, of the different the graveyard stuff is so interesting.
It is.
But,
I love
it's such an interesting type of magic. Like, I love necromancy so much, but it's like it's not something that's very commonly used in everyday magic, just because it's a little bit.
I love necromancy because I read about from the Egyptians and like different necromancies, and you're right, it is very interesting, like all the folklore, but you know what I mean, from each region, but they all share similar like graveyard dust. Even over here, we have graveyard dust.
There's graveyard dust and there's like graveyard earth as well. Yeah, and there's also bone dust, so it's like different types of dust too. Now I like different.
Yeah, like, and
grades of gross.
Yet again, it shares a lot of the same with other arts. So I think that's pretty cool.
It is really interesting.
It is.
I have a small story. So this.
Okay, go ahead. Oh no, I was just. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
She gonna go off topic.
Yeah, so go ahead.
We'll get to that later.
Okay, so there's a story of like a girl who had gotten a black art book from her mother. So basically what happened is like once that she had gotten the arcane knowledge, what she did is she started scaring people with it. And one of the ways that she did that is that she would use she would put two forks like straight into a table, and that's the way that she would like try to milk cattle. And basically, no matter how much magic she did, it didn't really stop the family from being poor. And like other ways that she would kind of use, like basically a lot of the different types of spells that were present, especially in the Swedish dark magic books that are still available in the library in Gothenburg. A lot of it has to do with like farming stuff. It has a lot to do with stealing milk, and kind of a lot of it is cursing shotguns, which I don't know why they're cursing shotguns, but they're cursing shotguns quite a lot. And basically, this was one of the ways that they would steal milk. And like she could also, there's two variations of the story. In the other variation of the story, she sticks a knife into the barn wall to also kind of kill the cattle. So like everyone is miserable because she is miserable, which I thought was really interesting.
Poor Moo-moos. The cows don't deserve that. They didn't do nothing.
I also wanted cow. It's a milking cow, girl.
I also wanted to ask a question here. Like, if you specifically had access to a dark magic book, or you had access to a black magic book, what would you do first?
I'm not going to answer that.
What? Oh, you know exactly what.
I deal with. Yeah, I'm not going to. Yeah, no. I'll let them to answer.
Oh, girl, I don't know if that's okay. First of all, pedophiles gone, out of here. 2, I want to be rich. 2, 3, I don't care about power. I care about money. So maybe something to do with that. Well, also, I have
You have your guy
an
in Illinois. Could you use your
boyfriend that I would like to just electrify him. That would be great if I could just send lightning, like me and Zeus could have a conversation about it, and he can, get him really good, and to really not to like unalive him, but just to really skip his heart like a lot, like maybe put him in the hospital
Okay,
for like a month
Tiffany,
or
just
something.
jump in. Just jump in.
I mean,
Just jump in.
Y'all have to agree with what I say. I don't think y'all disagree. I mean, Lilse's over here going, yeah, I mean, I know somebody.
Sounds like a great plan, to be honest.
So yeah. And you can't be like, it was me, because that's just the weather. I can't control the weather. Isn't that what the government says? I don't control the weather. Yes, you do.
no, they don't. We're gonna
Okay.
stop it. But I don't
Tiffany.
even know. I don't even know anymore. I've never even thought about it. That's the thing.
You know
So
what I would
I'm
do?
gonna say I've never thought about it. And the government does not control the weather. So yes.
Seeding.
Okay, you
Seedling.
two. Okay, guys, this ain't a conspiracy
Seedling.
tonight.
But anyways, point is yeah, I could go on about all the things I would want to do. Like, and it wouldn't be just bad things. I mean, if we're on it, the P word, right? And that'd be good. Also, we could cure world hunger, world peace. We could stop wars. Okay, so maybe I do want some power. Okay.
I was gonna say money,
Also,
power.
great power comes with great responsibility. So one of the things that's really interesting about like the black art books is like if like first of all, if you open it, you don't know if you can read it or not. But also another thing that's really interesting is the book itself is like an object of power. So like it's kind of like a monkey's paw kind of situation. So even if you are able to open the book and read something, you don't really understand what you're reading because you're not the practitioner of the black magic book. So something you could have something that would work, like in terms of you could be like, oh, I want money, and then the magic could also work in a way that you wouldn't want.
That sounds about right, just in general. This is why I don't do money spells right there. Because every single time I do, I don't have any money, which is weird because I haven't even done any money spells and I am broke. Like, what the heck
You
is
did
up
it
with that?
before. You have done it before.
That was years. Yeah, that was like 7, 8, 9 years ago. Okay, let me tell you a story real quick.
2 years ago.
No.
Yeah.
No, it was when I was in Central Texas. And I know because I had the green candle, I had all that. Now, listen, let me tell you what happened to me. Okay, I did the candle magic, the green candle with all the herbs and everything. And I set the intention and I did everything you're supposed to do per instructions. And then I didn't have no money for like 6 months, like none, like dry spell. Okay, I asked for $1,200 because I needed to pay some bills or something. I didn't get paid, and then all of a sudden it just comes all at once. And every single time I had a penny, I was told to say thank you. So I was like, thanks for the 2 cents, I had to be grateful through the whole thing, but eventually I got paid that amount.
It's good. Yeah, but it
Never
is one
doing
of
that
those
again.
things. Yeah.
Now I do the cinnamon every month, but that's not really. It's like bring in wealth
Like
to my house. Maybe that's what I'm doing. Huh? Sorry, what?
So even if you found this book, it's probably no way you could understand it because you're not the person who wrote it. You're not in that it wasn't passed down to you, so you weren't taught it. So and
you would have
could
to
actually
find someone to teach you how to use it. Yeah.
Yes. And then if you try to do it anyhow by yourself, you'll probably do it wrong and do the opposite of what you probably wanted to do in the first place.
Yeah, I think a really good
Funny
example of this
situation.
magic book is in the Wicked, like the recent Wicked that just came out. where she kind of has the book where she like sings and stuff. But a lot of the times when she's trying to do stuff, like she turns the guy she loves into like a man made out of straw, or like I think there's another guy that she turns into the Tin Man, and then at the last one, I think she turns her sister into something else. I think her sister tries to use the book and then causes some other issue. But yeah, I would definitely say the magic book present in Wicked, especially in the recent iteration, is like a based on this kind of Swedish dark magic book as well, which is really interesting.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I have another like short story that I was going to share. So basically, if a black art book was found with a woman, then basically, so there was a specific story of like a wise woman who was kind of using a black magic book to kind of help her community out. So basically, once it was known that she was kind of using this like very arcane object to like very powerful object, they were like, you know, we don't necessarily want this kind of object to fall into the wrong hands. So what they did was they took the book away from her and then they nailed it to a wall in a museum in Gothenburg. So like no one would be able to use it, and like the book itself was seen as a liability, as I was kind of talking about before, because if it fell, either number one, it would fall into the wrong hands, or another person, it would actually fall open. And like if it fell open too, then like it could also cause issues or problems. So the only way that it was thought that that issue wouldn't happen is that it could also be buried after the owner died with the owner itself, because you know then it would be free from the common, it would be free, and like it would be for the best, you know, just because the book is no longer in use. But you know,
like
people would,
Hocus Pocus, the book in Hocus
yeah,
Pocus
but
that
obviously,
talks
you know,
and stuff.
people would go to the grave and like try to, you know, get the, you know, everyone wants power,
Yeah.
so they would try to get the book from the person who passed away.
See, that's mean. That's wrong, man.
Not
It
me.
really is.
There's people that will sit at that grave and after their loved one passes away, and they'll wait to make sure nobody's taking any of that dirt, you know.
Yes, like no one's taking the dirt, no one's taking the bones, no one's taking the, what else? Like a lot of the times, there's also a lot of like really interesting things that you're able to do with the kind of the black art, like black magic books as well. So I do have like a little list of like all my favorite little bits that I have found
Yeah.
from the like when I was reading. So the first thing was the creation of a troll hair. So this is like a small spirit that would travel to another farm to like steal the best milk from the cows. And it's like, you know, it's like a rabbit. It's not a troll. It's literally just like a rabbit. And it's just a rabbit that you would like go and
Yeah.
like steal the milk. I thought that was so interesting. And then, of course, since we need like a good revenge one, I have this one where you would stab a knife into like a footprint or like a track, and then you would say, "I heave the knife into the footprint," and then that would cause the person to stumble under a stone.
Oh, wow.
And basically, I think we are talking also like this type of magic is called contagious magic. So like every single thing that like you've touched, every single hair that's fallen is like contagious. Like you have to be really
Oh.
careful and like
Heard
guard
about
and like
that.
make
Yeah.
sure that like yeah,
Ooh, no,
anything
I
that
don't
you
want to lose
touch
my
can
hair.
be supplemental to the
No.
charm.
Well, that's why they say never leave your hair around a witch.
Yeah, don't leave your hair around, don't leave clothing around. Like be careful, like even where you're stepping, because think of all the things
A
that
witch.
you use to hurt you.
I left
Yeah,
my hair
no.
around a witch that told me that, and it was kind of sus. So then I really
That
started hiding my hair.
Yeah.
You and the original girl, I was like, okay, I'm gonna start hiding my hair.
Well, I like my hair, so I'm not going to hide it, but it's fine.
But also, you know, sometimes like policemen like go through the trash to like get air samples or get DNA samples to like solve crimes. So it's a little bit
yeah.
like that as well. So it's like you have to be
Yeah.
careful, be thirsty all the time. I think there's this one that was good for hunting, where it's like you take the blood of your right hand and then you make a powder out of the blood and you mix it with shotgun powder. There's a lot of them with like shotguns and like kind of making the shotgun misfire, or like having, if a shot is taken from that gun, it'll specifically go for like one person or specifically travel to kind of attack someone, maybe a
Tiff needs
jokeful
that
lover
one.
or someone you don't
Huh?
like.
Tiff needs
Excuse me?
that one. Remember that
Yeah.
time that you came home late and your family member almost pew-pewed you at the door because you came home late?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like you could do
Yeah.
that, and like you could like curse specifically like the little shotgun like pellets. So like if the pellet was, they use that pellet, then it would like go backwards, like it would hit them instead of hitting you. If like you're
Oh,
protecting
don't do
yourself.
that.
You could also have it where like it would misfire and then it would hit like someone else that you don't like. So,
Oh, so it
mhm.
kind of, that's cool.
Yeah, it is. It's different. I've never
Yeah.
heard of like specifically shotgun based magic, but a lot of the Swedish black magic books that were kind of available in like the 1920s or up to kind of World War One, there's a lot of shotgun stuff in there. Like you mix blood or you mix graveyard dust into specifically into the shotgun pellet, and that kind of gives it different properties. I thought that was so interesting. I've never heard of that anywhere else. So
That's pretty
interesting.
cool. I'm gonna have to look into that because that's pretty cool.
I did include the different books that I had read as well. So like if you're interested in it, you could probably look it up. I've been reading a lot on the library's Libby app. There's so much available on Libby. If you wanted to look through it, you could very easily find it. Very
That
interesting.
that would be very, yeah. I don't like reading, but that sounds interesting enough.
Yeah,
I
I feel like learning is so fun, especially if it's topics that are interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Was someone saying something else?
I was gonna say it's interesting just hearing these different ones because, like I said, they all have different, but they all sound like kind of similar. Just like
Yeah.
keywords are different. I would love to read more on this because it sounds closer to some of the stuff I was reading earlier. So, which
Yeah, it's definitely,
blows
it's
my
very
mind.
pagan. It's very like early, kind of, how would I explain it? Yeah, like kind of prehistory. It doesn't feel like something
Yeah,
that is from our time period or even from history itself. It's so interesting.
See,
it
I
really
feel
is.
like a lot of everything we've discussed though tonight,
Hmm.
if you look at all the movies and stuff, there are so many movies that have things like this in them.
They
Yes,
borrow from mythology and
Yeah.
folklore, and
this is folklore,
that's
not mythology. But yes, you're right. Yeah.
yeah. No, I'm saying like movies, they borrow
Mhm.
from
Yeah.
mythology, folklore,
Yes.
like certain aspects of, and they put them in. That's what makes the movie so interesting to us.
Mhm.
Is
Makes
it
Because
you,
kind
this
of
stuff
like,
is interesting.
yeah.
I mean, is it kind of like what we had said before? Like every religion, spiritual belief, at some point or another, they all kind of come together, you
They
know?
lapse in some of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's what
They,
it sounds like. It's kind of just lapsing or come together.
Like over time, things changed, like,
Yeah, the wording changes, but it's still the
mhm.
same thing, right? So that's
it's
pretty
I
just
would
cool.
say
interesting.
I would say the
What?
the main thing that happens is like I feel like if you look at people like in a specific region, a lot of the times the administration changes or like different people come in and kind of they get influenced by different things. But I would say the things that stay the same is like you know every like especially kind of seeing how these black magic books have a chronology of like them going through different owners is like
Mhm.
the people always will have these like folk remedies or they'll have like their own superstitions and like the superstitions last much less. You can tell that these superstitions are over like 1,000, 2,000 years old, and they were just passed down family by family. And it's not necessarily like something that an administration or something that like a history would definitely would catch. It's just
And we
it's
all
just.
do it. We all
Mhm,
do it. Like I still throw
mhm,
salt over my shoulder. Every time I spill a little salt or use salt, like we still do it to this
mhm.
day. And
Yeah,
this it's just amazing
yeah,
until
And
you
it's
we
catch
definitely.
yourself doing it. You're like, oh wait, I
Mhm.
did do that.
yeah, and people do
I
it. They
have
don't even know what they're doing, and that's
yeah.
that's the cool part, I guess. But like, because when you start learning about it, it's like, whoa, I actually do that stuff too on a daily basis. Never would have known.
I think I have a very interesting thing like with I've noticed like I live here locally, so like one of the customs we have here is like we don't share food, like we don't share utensils. Like there's specific rules around like utensils. Like it's
Mhm.
called well it doesn't really matter, but like it's like like the if you share food, like sometimes you share saliva or like you share kind of that thing. So there's like a hierarchy and like an order of like who can eat after, who can eat before, especially kind of with a shared utensil. And I noticed it here that my family is very strict about it, but like there's other people who are much looser about it. So like sometimes like someone will take a fork from me and just share food. And I'm like, I'm not supposed to share food with you. And they're like, why? And then I'll tell them the hierarchy, and they're just like, "What is that?" Like it's literally local to this place. And they're just, oh, why does it come to your family but not our family? Like, I don't know. But,
Well, it's the same. Wouldn't that be the same thing here too? Like, you have families from, say, Japan, and they're really, really strict in like their culture and their rules. And then they have other families, and they're like for instance, taking off your shoes when you come into the house. You put
Oh,
on your
that's a
slippers,
must at
or
my house. You have to take your
yeah.
shoes off before you enter my house.
probably.
That's a must.
If I have carpeted floors, I always ask everybody to take off their shoes. But it's the same kind of same thing. But we have that rule. Like we don't. My mom was too like her drinks. If one of us took a drink of her cup when we were kids, she was like, "You can have it. I'm done. Like I'm done." And then that kind of instilled in
100%.
me as yeah. When I got older, I was like, "No, no, you can have it." Like I don't share water. I don't know.
I think we have
I
the
don't
opposite. Where, like,
share.
if I like basically the way it is like if I drink something, the person after me who can like kind of drink is only someone who's older than me. Like it can't be someone younger than me. So it's like if someone younger than me drank it, then like I would have to like basically like no, you're not supposed to do that, or like they wouldn't be able to
Yeah.
finish the drink, and I also wouldn't be able to drink again. It's like a whole thing. It's very interesting.
I think I always felt like in your culture, like they're really about and really big on family. That's what I was talking about all my other lives. Like I thought that was really interesting. Where you're at is like family is such a big thing, And here I think it is a big thing to some people, but it kind of mixes. It depends on the people, the family, the trauma, background,
It's
all
like
that.
it's the difference between like a collectivist society where it's like like whenever I'm with my family, it's like I'm not a person anymore. It's like I am my family. Whereas like
Yeah,
in like if I go outside sometimes I'm like I forget I'm a person sometimes. And then I'm like, oh
yeah,
yeah, I also have like my own thoughts and stuff I want to do. So yeah, sometimes
yeah.
collective is individualistic.
I think that's so sweet, though. But yeah, I get that completely because, like, when I'm with my family, a lot of times I'm like, oh yeah, I have a personality.
Yeah,
you know,
you
I get
I
that.
think differently than you sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, here's a random question. So if I don't know if you have siblings or not, but if
I do.
you met your siblings as friends, like they weren't your siblings, would you still be friends with them?
No.
Like,
Not even going to probably would not be friends with my siblings.
um,
Well, maybe like I think there are certain things in common that we all have. Like we all kind of love gaming and board games, so it's like I feel like if there was like some kind of like a gaming convention or like a gaming tournament or something, then like maybe we would be friends from that experience. But in general, I wouldn't really say we have that much in common.
that's kind of how me and my siblings are. We don't. We all of them were like, no, we would not be friends with you, and I'm like, well, how rude. I'm the oldest of five. Okay, I would not be friends with them. Are you kidding me? Not be
I'm the
friends with
youngest
me.
of 5, so
I am the middle child.
I'm the oldest of two.
you're like, I would not be friends with my sister. Or would you? Do you think you would?
No.
Does she listen to this?
Oh, I love her. Like, don't get me wrong. We're just two totally different people.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you also have friends, I think we all have friends that we're nothing alike, but you're still good friends,
Oh, yeah.
so
I
it's
have very similar
possible.
personalities to most of my friends. Like I feel like if you're friends with someone, you're usually like-minded. Like it's usually you guys think similarly as well. I don't have friends that have like very, very opposite political views or like very, very opposite personality. Yeah.
Yeah, I have,
Yeah.
I have a friend, we're both very opposite, and we've been friends for almost probably over 10 years now, but yeah, we're just somehow we just mesh well, and we've been friends, but we just have so different views on not everything, but, like, mainly political views, and we keep it
Oh,
civil. So it's like we've always had that, and
but there's
we
also like
never.
that compromise where you kind of keep it civil. That's also
Yeah.
maturity. That's also emotional intelligence. That's
Yeah.
good.
Some people can't do that though. So
I have one of my good friends, me and her are totally different. Different viewpoints, different everything. But when we're together, we have this big rule. We just don't talk about anything like that. And if we do, we joke about it. We don't really
Mhm.
clash with it because it's not a big deal to us. It's like you overlook that because we have other things in common
Mhm.
and they outweigh the ones that we don't, type of thing.
Oh yeah.
Like they were up at my house a couple weeks ago. Their family was praying, and she's like, she looked at me and my kids. I'm like, she's like, that's fine. And they went on and did their little prayer. Then we all ate. We still respected them. We waited to eat till they were done with their prayer, but
Mhm.
like we're just that different. But it don't really matter because we still love each other and we still have something as a bond.
Yeah.
But
Everything in common because you grew up together, so you're like, oh, your thoughts are my thoughts. And like, you could just look at each other and you might know each other's thinking. Although one about running away to another state, and then the other one's like, no, I was thinking about like I was thinking about going to the beach, you know. Anyways, it's a.
All right.
I'm gonna
right.
stress her out with that one. Anyways, but we are running out of time. Is there anything anybody wants to add or say?
No, I mean this was interesting, and I liked to learn a lot. It was fun.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. I've never done
Yeah.
This
anything
was
like this
good.
before.
We got to do a
Yes.
lot more. You will hopefully be seeing Lucy a little bit, a lot more, a little bit, a lot more. Maybe she'll come on
A
a
little
live
bit
with
more.
us. I hope everybody has a good night. You stay spooky, stay out of trouble, and if you figure out how to hit your ex with lightning bolt, see me.
And on that note, blessed be. Love y'all. Love each other, please.
Okay, good night.
Good
Bye.
night. Bye.